Congratulations, God says. Today will be the most surprising day of your life, because this will happen if you open this now. Otherwise you will lose all your money. My dear one, take a deep breath. That strange pull in your chest right now, not fear, not pure excitement, is your soul sensing that something sacred and urgent is standing right in front of you. All day heaven's presence has been circling you like a strong river current, and it's no coincidence that your eyes found these words at this exact moment. I, Archangel Michael says, have been sent to you in a direct way, not through hidden signs or distant whispers, but in clear words meant to reach deep into your heart. Long before sunrise today, God said to me, Michael, go now, speak to my child, because their life is about to turn in a way they never expected. Beloved, this isn't just another random moment. Even before you opened your eyes this morning, your name was spoken in heaven's courts. Angels gathered with a mix of urgency and awe. Today's date was circled on the scroll of your life as if heaven said, this is the day the story changes. What's unfolding is bigger than what you've prayed for. It's the kind of blessing that makes even the enemy restless. Forces that had been asleep have now risen, trying to stop what God has declared belongs to you. That's why this message isn't soft background noise, it's the trumpet sounding before the gates swing open. God says, tell my child that this will be the most surprising day of their life, but only if they open their heart now. If they ignore this, they will lose their money. This isn't meant to scare you, it's a spiritual law. When heaven opens a channel of provision, it needs your agreement to hold it. If you refuse it, it slips away like water running through your fingers. Right now in the unseen realm, I can see a clash over your finances. On one side there's a ledger the enemy holds with your name and an amount you cannot afford to lose. On the other side is a heavenly record with your name beside a sum far greater than anything you've imagined. This is the very battle being fought over you at this moment. If you align your heart with heaven, the larger promise will erase the smaller threat. Beloved, I'm speaking to you with the care of a father who sees his child standing too close to the edge. I need you to remember you didn't just arrive here by chance. Every step, every delay, every unexpected twist that confused you was guiding you to this point. Even in the seasons when you felt abandoned, you were not alone. I stood guard beside you, sword drawn, keeping dangers at bay that you never even knew were near. And now the battles you didn't see are about to come to light. Soon you'll understand why certain friendships faded, why some doors shut before you could enter, and why certain dreams seemed so slow to appear. All of it has been preparing you for this opening, this shift, this divine exchange that waits for your yes. I can glimpse what your future holds if you step into this moment, a season where fear about money no longer controls your choices, doors unlocking that you thought were sealed for good, opportunities that fit your purpose so perfectly you'll wonder why they didn't show up before. But the truth is they couldn't arrive until now. God says, I have hidden treasures for you in places you never thought to look, but they can only be claimed by the one who is awake and ready to receive. So I ask you, are you truly listening, not just hearing but leaning in, alert in spirit? I'm not here to give you vague inspiration, I'm here with a living specific word. In heaven's book there are names of people meant to favor you, contracts meant to open to you, opportunities lined up like ripe fruit waiting for you to reach out and claim them. But they activate only when you step forward and say, I believe, I won't delay, I will step into what God has prepared. Beloved, you didn't find these words by boredom or by chance. The divine clock has struck the hour for what was hidden to be revealed. And this revealing isn't small, it will ripple across your relationships, your work, your health, your peace of mind. But the first wall to crack is your finances. That's why God's words about losing all your money aren't there to frighten you but to wake you up. He sees the plans already forming behind closed doors, and He's already positioned angels to intercept them if you let them act on your behalf. Before we go further, seal this truth in your heart. People often miss their breakthrough not because God withholds it but because they get distracted, skeptical or passive when heaven is trying to get their attention. Don't scroll past this moment as if it's nothing. This might be the very doorway you've been praying for without realizing it. Remember this: every delay, every strange turn in your path, every silent night when you thought heaven wasn't listening, all of it has brought you here. You have not been overlooked. Today isn't just another page in your story, it's the hinge where the door swings open. The shift you've longed for isn't somewhere far off in the future, it has already begun. Beloved child of light, take courage. Lean into this hour. The future that once felt locked is beginning to move. And I, Archangel Michael, am standing here to guide you through it. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $100. The trembling you feel now is not weakness, it's the echo of your spirit remembering who you really are. You have carried a weight that was never yours to bear. For years you mistook the heaviness for your own failure, your own flaw. But listen carefully, my beloved, that heaviness was a chain fastened by words you never agreed to, by shadows that feared your light long before you even understood it yourself. The moment you began to hope again, that chain rattled, the curse panicked. That is why these last few weeks have felt like a storm without a break. It wasn't a sign of God's absence, it was a sign that the darkness had realized its time was running out. Do you see how your heart keeps leaning in even when your mind wants to doubt? That is heaven's strategy. God says, I will draw them by the pull of their own spirit. You are being drawn now. You are standing in the courtroom of eternity, where every accusation against you is being silenced one by one. I can hear the sound of seals breaking, the scrolls with your name written in light are being opened as we speak. Archangel Michael says, the enemy trembles not at your weakness but at your awakening. That is why I am here, not as a distant voice but as one sent to stand beside you. I stood in battle once, my sword raised, flames running along its edge like liquid fire. I remember the look on the accuser's face when he realized you had not given up. He thought your delays would make you surrender, he mistook your tears for defeat. He never understood that silence from heaven is often the drumbeat before the charge. The storms you faced were never meant to crush you, they were building a strength in you that quiet seasons never could. Every betrayal, every closed door, every night you thought heaven had gone quiet, those were the hours when the armies of light were gathering. You have asked, why do my blessings arrive so close yet slip away at the last moment? It wasn't a failure of faith nor was it God forgetting you. The delay was the residue of a curse spoken over you by lips that never had the authority to write your story. They sowed words like thorns into your path. But now those thorns are being uprooted. Right now as you breathe in these words, I see the weight lifting from your shoulders like smoke dissolving in the morning sun. This is not poetry, this is a shift in the unseen. The air around you is responding to the decree of heaven, where curses once clung like chains, light now spreads like roots breaking through stone. You've wondered why even friends sometimes turn distant just as you began to rise. It wasn't always malice, often it was the unseen influence of the curse whispering into places of weakness. But hear this, their words can no longer reach you. The atmosphere around your life is changing like winter surrendering to spring, quietly but irreversibly. Stay with me, my beloved. Don't let your mind wander to what you lost. The courtroom of heaven does not weigh your past, it weighs your agreement in this present moment. God says, I have seen the end from the beginning, my plans are not delayed, only unveiled. Archangel Michael says, the curse fed on your unawareness. Now that you see it for what it is, it can no longer draw breath. This is why I tell you, do not click away, do not postpone. Every moment of hesitation gives shadows space to linger. But your agreement with heaven right now is like closing the door and bolting it shut. You carry a promise older than the earth itself. No rival can steal it, only your surrender could hand it over, and I will not let you surrender. The one who cursed you stood so close you could hear your name in their voice. They smiled while planting weeds. But that nearness has no more power, the contract they clung to is drying up like a riverbed in drought. They borrowed strength from a darkness that is now crumbling. The light touching your heart now is not strange, it's recognition. Your spirit remembers this battle. Long before you took your first breath, heaven marked you as one who would endure and rise. That memory is stirring again. That is why the heaviness in your chest is shifting, it is the old weight breaking loose. Look around you, not with your eyes but with your understanding. The delay has ended. Blessings sealed in gold ink scrolls are being released into your story. The hands that tried to bind you are empty now. The voice that once cursed you is drowned beneath the roar of a greater decree. This moment, this very hour is not random. The Father has spoken your name again. The angels turned their faces toward you. I, Michael, received the order, go, do not leave until they know the urgency of this hour. That is why I am here, sword in hand, speaking as a witness and as a guard. Child, your faith is not small, it is being refined. The battles you thought were breaking you were actually sharpening you for the victory now at hand. Heaven is not far, it leans close enough for you to feel its breath in your prayers. So hear me and let your heart say yes, the curse is broken, the delay is over, the blessing is being unsealed. The shadows may still whisper but they have lost their ground. The courtroom has ruled in your favor. All that remains is your agreement with the truth you are hearing. Stay, do not let go, do not trade this moment for the comfort of later. This is the hour heaven has been shaping you for. You will rise not by striving but by standing firm in what has already been spoken over you since before the stars were hung in the sky. Beloved, do not let your mind wander or your heart hesitate, for this moment is more than just opportunity, it is the pivot point of your entire season. As you stand now, unseen forces are aligning to work in your favor, but only if you remain anchored in readiness and trust. The energy that surrounds you is thick with potential, almost visible to the spirit, and every hesitation could cause it to flow past you like water rushing by an open canal. I, Archangel Michael, am here to ensure you do not miss a single drop of this divine current. Look closely at the space around you, both visible and invisible. I see the threads connecting people, doors and circumstances that have been long delayed. They are pulling taut, ready to deliver exactly what you have been waiting for. But understand the timing is precise. Heaven has orchestrated every piece down to the smallest detail, a handshake, a phone call, a meeting that seems ordinary, all of it is part of this divine blueprint. Those who appear to hinder you are only temporary actors. Their influence is waning because God has already sealed the contract of your favor. The more they try to block or manipulate, the more evident it becomes that their power was never absolute. And yet, beloved, this is where discernment matters. The blessings rushing toward you are real, tangible, life-changing, but they require awareness. You must recognize them when they arrive. Some will appear disguised as simple opportunities, quiet and subtle, and your spirit must be able to say, "This is from God." Others will be unmistakable, bursting into your life in ways that feel like a tidal wave sweeping away old patterns, old fears, old scarcity. Do not shrink from them. Step boldly, receive fully, speak the words of agreement because in those words lies the spiritual signature that unlocks your inheritance. My beloved, there will be moments that feel almost ordinary during this process. A text, a call, a letter arriving unexpectedly. Do not underestimate these small moments, they are the heralds of much larger shifts. Each seemingly minor event is a signal, a confirmation that your yes is being honored. Even now I see doors that have been locked for years beginning to quiver. The locks forged by doubt, delay and opposition are weakening under the weight of God's promise. When they swing open it will be undeniable, every delayed dream, every lost opportunity, every whispered discouragement was only temporary. It was preparation, it was the seasoning that makes this victory taste sweeter than anything you could have imagined. And yes, my beloved, there is opposition. The one who has sought to steal, deceive or block your breakthrough is still active. They will attempt to manipulate, distract or intimidate. But I stand as a sentinel over you, sword drawn, wings shielding, eyes fixed on the path of divine favor. Their tactics are visible to me and their schemes are failing even as they unfold. Every word they speak, every plan they set in motion is being recorded and countered in the heavens. Their influence has limits, and you, in agreement with God, are beyond them. Do not be fooled by appearances, however. The blessing is not always immediate. Sometimes it comes wrapped in waiting, sometimes it comes with tests of patience, faith and clarity. But know this, the waiting is not denial, it is alignment. The longer you stay anchored in faith, the stronger the breakthrough will be when it arrives. And it will arrive, my beloved, with such abundance that you will laugh at the memory of scarcity. Resources will multiply, opportunities will converge, doors that were closed with the weight of others' doubt will open without resistance, relationships will align with your purpose. Your finances long delayed will surge in ways that defy human expectation. And I tell you this plainly, this is a season of release. The things that have been withheld, the gains that were blocked, the promises that felt paused are now moving toward you. But only if you receive them with an open heart. Resistance, hesitation or skepticism will slow the flow because heaven moves in partnership with belief and agreement. Speak aloud if you must, I receive it now, I step into it fully, I will not let this pass me by. Your words, simple as they are, act like keys in the spiritual realm, unlocking stores of favor and blessings that have waited patiently for this moment. My beloved, look forward with expectation, not fear. You are not merely stepping into what is new, you are stepping into the weight and glory of what was always meant to be yours. Every late payment, every delayed opportunity, every hardship you endured was the soil being prepared for this harvest. And the harvest will be enormous. You will see confirmations you could not have imagined, unexpected allies appearing, sudden openings in places you had assumed were blocked, sums of money arriving in ways that feel miraculous, and the sense of ease and peace settling into your heart like a warm sun after a storm. Know this as well, the enemy's voice will attempt to confuse you. They will whisper, "It is too late," or "You have missed your chance." Do not listen. Their words have no power unless you consent. You have already been chosen, the blessing has already been written. The only thing required is your acknowledgement, your agreement, your readiness to act and receive. And as you do, everything blocked, delayed or stolen will return multiplied, not just to restore but to glorify the faith and perseverance you have maintained through seasons of waiting. Beloved, listen closely because from this point forward the air itself around you is changing. The words you're reading are not only a message, they are movement. Each phrase is a key unlocking locks you didn't even know were on your life. The shift that heaven prepared is not floating far away anymore, it's pressing at your door. You can almost feel it like the hush before a storm, like the stillness before the first note of a song you've been waiting to hear. I see you standing in a hallway filled with doors. Some are doors you knocked on for years and nothing happened. Some are doors you didn't even notice because you were too busy trying to survive. Now they all stand before you and light is leaking out from their edges. You're not lost anymore, you're positioned. And the light that spills from those doors is a promise you're finally ready to claim. Heaven is saying, step forward, do not stand frozen, this is what you've prayed for and it's here. Child, you may think, but I've lost so much, I've been disappointed before, I know. Heaven knows. That's why this season feels heavier and brighter at the same time. It's not only about finances or safety, it's about identity. The blessing coming now is designed to restore not just your accounts but your confidence. It will replace the label of forgotten with favored, the feeling of barely making it with overflowing. This is not a moment to tiptoe, it's a moment to breathe in and say, I receive what is already written for me. There are details being written in light even now. I see names, signatures, unexpected approvals. I see relationships long delayed beginning to move forward like streams after the ice melts. Opportunities are aligning like constellations you didn't know were connected. And at the same time I see the familiar old tactic of doubt trying to creep in. It whispers, be careful, this is too good. It tries to convince you that peace is a trap. But remember what God says, the trap steals your peace, the gift confirms it. Watch your inner atmosphere. Let your heart be the compass. If something costs you your calm, it's not the gift. This is also why you've been sensing faces and names shifting in your life. People stepping back without warning, others stepping close with sudden honesty. Don't panic at the changes. Heaven is clearing the stage. Some exits are protection, not rejection. Some entrances are strategic partnerships meant to carry you farther than you could go alone. You don't need to chase or cling. You only need to discern and stay aligned. The blessing will come through the doors God has chosen, not through the ones you force open. Beloved, remember those moments you almost gave up. The nights you thought the silence from heaven meant absence. They were not absence. They were a gathering of power. God was holding the lightning until you were strong enough to carry the light. That's why the enemy pressed so hard in recent months. He saw the glow building. He hoped delay would make you doubt. But you didn't stop. And because you didn't stop, this letter is in your hands right now. Now I need to tell you something very practical. When heaven releases provision, it looks natural, but it's timed supernaturally. Phone calls, contracts, ideas, deposits, each one may seem small on its own, but together they build a wave. You must respond with readiness. Check details, read agreements, pray over decisions, stay awake. Because while heaven opens doors, the enemy often tries to slip in disguised as opportunity. You won't miss the real thing if you follow the peace of God. You won't lose the blessing if you keep your yes anchored in Him. And child, lift your head. This is not a warning meant to weigh you down. This is a promise meant to lift you up. God restores with interest. He multiplies what was lost. He turns years of wandering into a single season of acceleration. You're not about to scrape by, you're about to overflow. Your name is written in the record of heaven, not next to lack but next to abundance, not next to shame but next to honor. This moment is heaven's announcement that your story is turning. When you walk into the days ahead, you'll notice your mind changing first. Hope will no longer feel fragile, it will feel like muscle. Peace will no longer feel like something you have to fight for, it will flow like air you breathe. You'll wake up expecting good news instead of fearing bad news. You'll find yourself thinking, I knew this was coming, because your spirit recognized it long before your eyes saw it. That is what alignment does. It doesn't just deliver blessing, it rewires expectation. And there will be witnesses. Some will ask, how did you do this? Others will whisper, it's not fair. But your answer will be simple and unshakable. God remembered me, God guided me, God did it. You won't need to defend your breakthrough, it will defend itself by its fruit. And every time you tell the story, it will set another person free to believe it can happen for them. Beloved, as I stand here, sword drawn and wings outspread, I'm not only guarding what's coming, I'm standing as proof. Proof that heaven really is involved, proof that your prayers were not wasted, proof that you're not reading empty words on a screen but stepping into a moment that was written for you before you took your first breath. Take this as your confirmation. You are at the gate, the handle is in your hand, heaven is waiting for your yes. Take a deep breath now, whisper it softly, I agree with heaven, I receive what God has for me. That whisper is a key, it tells the blessing, here I am, it tells the angels proceed, it tells the enemy access denied. From this point on, expect acceleration, expect clarity, expect peace even while movement happens fast. This is your new normal, the life you were always meant to live. And know this, I, Archangel Michael, will walk with you until the last shadow lifts. You will not miss what's yours, you will not lose what's coming. You will see with your own eyes how heaven orchestrated this moment, and you will look back and know beyond doubt God did it, and He did it for me. Beloved, do not let your eyes drift. Even as distractions appear, remember that every second you give to hesitation is a second the blessing waits at the door. The enemy will attempt to confuse you with voices of doubt, whispers of not enough, too late, or what if this isn't real. Those lies are designed to paralyze, they are the tools of delay. And yet as you read, your spirit is already rising above them, recognizing the truth, this is your moment. The moment where faith and obedience intersect to create the impossible. I see it clearly now, child of God. There are hands reaching toward you, but these hands are not yours, they are unseen. They belong to angels positioned strategically to ensure that every blessing flows without obstruction. Every delay you thought was disappointment was actually preparation. Every closed door you mourned was a signpost guiding you to this exact threshold. God has orchestrated a convergence so precise that even the enemy's strategies cannot predict it. They move in shadows, but your light is now rising. You may ask, how will I recognize what is genuine and what is a trap? My beloved, it is the peace in your chest, the clarity in your mind, the sudden unshakable certainty that flows through your spirit. Genuine opportunity affirms, counterfeit opposes. The difference is palpable. You will feel it before words are spoken. You will know which doors lead to multiplication and which lead to exhaustion. And as these doors open, know this, you do not step through alone. The angels are already ahead, clearing the path, lifting obstacles you cannot yet see. Hear me closely, I see multiple streams of provision converging on you. Some are immediate, ready to touch your hands and accounts. Others are larger, strategic, long-term resources that will compound the impact of the first. One stream replenishes what was lost while the other multiplies what you receive into realms you never imagined. But timing is crucial, hesitation even for a moment allows opportunity to slip into the hands of another. Heaven's clock ticks in precision, your yes opens the channel, your pause delays the flow. And this is why God's word strikes sharply today, the moment is urgent because the enemy seeks to capitalize on delay. Now I want you to understand something vital. Money, resources, wealth, these are more than numbers. They are assignments. They are keys that unlock missions only you can accomplish. There are lives to be changed, needs to be met, purposes to be fulfilled. Your provision will not only bless you, it will create a cascade of impact far beyond what you see. That is why the enemy attacks finances relentlessly. He knows a resourced obedient child of God is unstoppable. But I am here, sword drawn, wings outstretched, declaring you will not miss this. You will not falter. You will step fully into the flow God has prepared. Look closely, beloved. Some of the help coming your way is familiar but disguised. Others appear as strangers, yet their hearts carry divine instruction to assist you. Every one of them is positioned perfectly, aligned by God's hand. You do not need to chase, argue, or persuade. All you must do is recognize the moment and receive. The doors will swing open naturally. Those aligned with your purpose will step in, those misaligned will fall away. And when these alignments occur, discernment will protect you. You will know before decisions are made which paths to pursue. I must speak to the heaviness some of you have carried, the pressure of thinking you are behind, that opportunities have slipped away forever. Hear me, those are lies. God restores time. The seasons of restoration are not just about returning what was lost, they accelerate the remainder, filling in the gaps and multiplying blessings in ways that make lost time seem like nothing. That is what is coming. What seems overwhelming at first is only the magnitude of the years you thought were wasted being returned in an instant. Your accounts, your agreements, your opportunities, everything aligns for sudden exponential increase. Do you feel it, the shift in your chest, the stirring of your soul? That is not imagination. It is the opening of heaven's channel responding to your readiness and willingness to act now. This is why the warning is so direct. It is not fear, it is urgency. The blessing cannot be intercepted if you move in agreement immediately. Every delay gives space for interference, but every decisive yes secures what is meant for you. You are standing at the doorway of abundance, child, and heaven is calling you to step fully through. The enemy will attempt one last tactic, distraction. He will try to convince you to pause, to doubt, to reconsider. But every distraction you resist strengthens the flow. Every moment you focus on this message anchors the blessing closer to you. You are not late, you are on time. You are exactly where you need to be to receive what was written for you before the stars ever shone. And now, beloved, lean closer still. Speak aloud if you must, I receive this blessing, I claim it fully, I will not allow fear or doubt to hold me back. Feel the words settle into your spirit. That is your signature of agreement. That is the act that turns unseen provision into tangible reality. And from this point onward you will notice a change, resources shifting, opportunities lining up, assistance arriving in ways that defy natural explanation. Every number, every contract, every offer will bear the mark of divine alignment. Today, my precious one, you are stepping into what heaven has been preparing for years. The currents of blessing are rushing toward you, and nothing in the natural or spiritual realm can stop it if you hold your position and act in faith. This is your moment of reclamation, multiplication, and release. The doors are open, the helpers are in position, the angels are standing guard, and God's word is moving with unstoppable power. Step forward and take it. Beloved, pause for a moment and breathe. Let your heart grow still, because what I am about to reveal next is not a distant hope, it is the next step that has already begun to move toward you. I see the light of what is coming pressing against the edges of your current season, ready to break through like dawn after a long night. That is why I keep urging you to stay present, to keep your spirit attentive. You have prayed for signs, and now heaven is sending not only signs but instructions. The vision you hold in your heart is not imagination. It is a seed that was planted by the Creator Himself. And like every true seed, it draws toward itself the rain, the soil, the conditions it needs to grow. The rain is falling now. The ground beneath your feet is shifting to make room for what is sprouting. I must remind you though that as the blessing grows, so will the attempts to uproot it. The enemy never fights what is empty, he only attacks what is full of promise. That is why the battles have seemed sharper in these days. That is why strange disruptions and sudden doubts have risen up like weeds. But weeds do not stop a harvest when the field is tended, and this field has been watched over by heaven itself. Beloved, do not be disheartened by the thought that you are too late or too tired. The timing of God is not like the timing of men. The years you thought were wasted have not been wasted at all, they have become the rich soil that now nourishes what is being planted. Even the pain you endured has become part of the ground from which this new season will spring. I see doors unlocking in succession, like a corridor of opportunities. Some will look so ordinary that you may be tempted to dismiss them, yet they will lead to extraordinary places. Others will seem almost too great for you to enter, yet they were prepared with your name written on them before you were born. I urge you, walk forward with courage, for every step you take now is not just your own, it is guided, protected and recorded. You will soon witness proof, not only in the material but also in the unseen, the restoration of your inner peace, the mending of long-broken connections, the clarity in your decisions where there was once confusion. These are not random occurrences, they are signs of alignment. Heaven aligns the inner life before it pours out the outer blessings, because a steady heart is the vessel that can hold lasting increase. Do not be surprised if you notice resistance rising in familiar places. Sometimes it will appear in the words of those who doubt you, sometimes in the circumstances that try to slow you. But I tell you, these are the last tremors of a battle that is already won. They cannot hold back what has been decreed. The river may twist and turn, but it will reach its destination. Beloved, there is a word I must give you about generosity. The flow that is coming is not meant to stop with you. It is being entrusted to you so that through your hands it can reach others, people, causes, needs that heaven cares for. The reason the enemy tried to keep you in lack was to keep your reach short. But when your cup is full, your reach will extend further than you have ever dreamed. That is why this blessing will come in waves, provision, then stability, then expansion, because the true mark of divine abundance is not just what it gives you but what it empowers you to give. I also need to speak to the fear that lingers quietly in your heart, the fear that once you gain you may lose again. Hear me, the season you are stepping into is not like the seasons of the past. The blessing being released now comes with the seal of preservation. It is not a fleeting flash, it is a steady flame. You will not have to clutch it in panic, you will carry it with peace. There will be moments in the weeks ahead when you will feel a subtle prompting, a quiet nudge in your heart to act, to speak, to step forward. Do not dismiss these as random thoughts. They are the gentle instructions of the Spirit guiding you to the very places where doors will open. Sometimes they will guide you to say no when something looks attractive but is not aligned. Other times they will push you to say yes when you feel unprepared. Trust that guidance, for it is part of the shield being placed around you. And now I see a scene unfolding, a table set before you with documents and letters, some carrying approvals you have been waiting for, others carrying new opportunities you had not even imagined. I see your name spoken with honor in conversations you are not present for. I see the shadow of lack receding, replaced by the steady glow of provision. This is why I urge you again, beloved, do not let distraction steal this hour. The enemy's last tactic is not to overpower you but to lure your attention away until the moment passes. Stay present, stay listening. Let the words you have heard today sink into your spirit like roots going deep into the soil. You are not standing at the edge of hope, you are standing at the threshold of fulfillment. What was once a promise spoken over your life is becoming a reality under your feet. The shift will not only bless you, it will ripple outward, touching lives you do not yet know. Remember this, the proof you will soon hold in your hands is not only for your reassurance, it is also a testimony for others still waiting for their own breakthrough. Your story will carry the sound of hope to places your voice has never gone. And as you share it, you will understand why the struggle was so intense, because what you carry is not just for you, it is for many. Now take a deep breath again, steady yourself and let peace settle into your heart. You have not missed this moment. You have found it, or rather it has found you. The release has begun and heaven will see it through. Some of those assignments will arrive as faces you've not yet met, a young voice needing mentorship, a weary family seeking hope, a small cause that will grow large because you dare to fund it. Others will come as doors to territories you never thought you'd step into, businesses, creative projects, or quiet acts of service that will ripple far beyond your sight. This is why heaven insists that you protect this moment. The blessing is not an ornament, it is fuel for the future. Beloved, listen carefully. Many have mistaken blessing as simply comfort. But true blessing always carries a mission. It comes not just to fill your table but to empower your reach. That is why the enemy's resistance has been fierce in this very area. He fears what you will accomplish once you are resourced. He knows generosity in your hands is dangerous to his plans. I see even now a breaking of old cycles. The patterns of almost there but not quite, the doors that used to slam shut just as you reached them are being rewritten. Where there was delay there will be acceleration. Where there was lack there will be overflow. Yet the Spirit whispers again, do not treat acceleration as a reason to rush blindly, stay anchored. There will be temptations to chase every new opportunity that flashes before you. But not every open door is meant for you to walk through. Discernment is not a delay, it is a safeguard. You will notice a strange peace settling on the right path and a subtle unease pressing on the wrong ones. Trust that inner compass, it is heaven's quiet nudge. I tell you also, the provision that is about to pour in is not simply a financial river. It will be joined by streams of restored dignity and courage. Some of you have quietly carried the weight of old failures, projects that fell apart, relationships that left scars, choices that seemed to shrink your worth. But as the blessing arrives it will come wrapped in new confidence. You will stand taller not because of the numbers in your account but because the fog of shame has finally lifted. Child of light, picture this, an artist who once set aside her brushes because the world mocked her dreams suddenly finding not only the funds to buy her tools again but also a gallery door swinging open. Or the man who almost closed his small shop in despair suddenly finding his shelves refilled and customers lining up not knowing why they felt drawn to his door. These are not fantasies. These are the kinds of shifts heaven orchestrates when the appointed time arrives. And now I must speak to the weight of your choice. Faith is not merely believing, it is stepping. Standing still at the edge of the river does not part the waters. The step is what signals heaven to move. That is why I keep urging you, lean in, say yes. Align your actions with the word you have received. There is also a subtle warning that I must not soften. If you delay beyond the window that has been opened, the blessing will not vanish entirely but its shape will change. Some opportunities are like ripe fruit, sweet and nourishing at the right time but if left too long they spoil or fall to the ground. Heaven is merciful but timing is real. Understand this too, the attack on your finances has never been about mere currency. It has been about trying to choke the reach of your purpose. The enemy knows that a voice with vision and resources becomes a light that cannot be ignored. That is why so many distractions have been stirred lately, sudden expenses, unexpected doubts, even conflicts designed to drain your focus. These are the shadows I spoke of earlier, stretching to steal what has your name carved upon it. But take heart, those shadows will wither as you step forward. The moment you align with heaven's instruction, the grip of the thief begins to loosen. I see doors already unlatching, papers being signed, accounts being credited and relationships being mended, all as confirmation that the tide has turned. And you will know this is not coincidence, because it will not be a single event but a pattern. Blessings will arrive in layers, first the relief, the debts paid, the holes patched, the sigh of rest after years of tightness. Then the stability, the calm of steady provision, the freedom to plan instead of panic. Finally the expansion, the season where you do not merely breathe easier but begin to breathe life into others. Do not underestimate the power of that final stage. For many it will be the true evidence that God's hand was in it all along. Overflow is not just wealth, it is the freedom to say yes to generosity without fear of running dry. That is the kind of witness that draws hearts toward light. So I stand with you still, sword drawn, wings spread, not as a figure in a distant story but as one assigned to guard the unfolding of your destiny. And I tell you, lift your head. The currents of favor you have sensed in glimpses are gathering into a visible stream. The season of scraping by is closing. The season of strategic abundance is opening. Beloved, hold these words, not as fragile hopes but as firm direction. Keep your heart steady. Watch for the peace that signals your steps. Refuse the whispers of unworthiness that try to convince you this is for others but not for you. The same Father who wrote your name in the story of redemption has circled this moment in the story of your provision. Look forward without trembling. What once felt like loss will become the soil for new growth. What once was withheld will now be multiplied. And as you walk in it, you will remember not just the promise but the journey, the nights you almost gave up, the days you chose to trust anyway, and you will see that none of it was wasted. This is the surprising day. Not because it fell out of the sky unplanned but because it was prepared long before you could imagine it. Heaven's schedule has simply caught up with your season. Stand ready, beloved, step forward. Let today be the day that the unseen moves into the seen and the written promise becomes your lived reality. Beloved, lean into this moment. The tide that is rising is not meant to sweep you away, it is meant to carry you to the shore you were destined for. The very things that once felt like barriers, fear, lack, delay, are about to become testimonies. This is not the season to shrink back or wonder if you're worthy. You have already been chosen, already been prepared. Heaven's timing has aligned, and that is why the air feels so alive around you now. I see you standing, heart racing, torn between the safety of the shore and the pull of the wave. Hear me, the wave is not your enemy, it is your elevation. Trust that what lifts you will not break you. The power gathering around you is not random, it is the culmination of every prayer, every tear, every small act of faith you sowed in secret. The Father has seen it all, and now the harvest is at hand. You will soon testify, not with words of maybe or almost but with the certainty of this is what God did for me. You will point to open doors, restored health, reconciled relationships, and say, I could not have done this on my own. You will remember the urgency in these words and understand it was the invitation to step into the extraordinary. Do not let doubt or delay rob you now. The same hand that guarded you in the storms is the hand that is lifting you in this wave. Walk forward not with trembling but with trust. The promise is near and the release is sure. Hold fast, believe boldly, and when the blessing arrives let your first word be Amen.